So this is MSC Euribia, MSC Cruises' newest ship. It started cruising in June 2023, has a gross tonnage of 181,000 and holds up to 6,327 passengers. It's also probably one of the most environmentally friendly cruise ships of today. However, during our cruise in October 2023, our first ever MSC cruise, we vowed never to sail with MSC again. So join us as we look through the highs and lows of our experience and share whether after some time to reflect, we'd consider giving MSC another shot. It all started so well, really. The embarkation was just so smooth and quick. We were on board before we knew it. And our first impressions once on board was, what a fantastic ship. I have to say the ship itself, if you took away all the passengers and crew, has to be one of the best ships I've personally been on. It was clean, shiny and spotless, which is what you'd expect from a new ship. So we're going to start off on deck 5, which is where we embarked on, right into Euribia's striking infinity Atrium. This spans between decks 5 and 7. The Atrium was stunning with its height and Swarovski-filled sparkly stairs. At the bottom of the Atrium on deck 5 is guest services. Now this is the place to go for any complaints or queries that you may have. We only had to go there a couple of times and I must admit I didn't find them to be that friendly or accommodating. Now whether this was due to a language barrier or not, I don't know, but they just didn't seem that helpful. As we're here in the Atrium, we're just going to move up to deck 6, which is the Galleria or Promenade. Now this is a huge area with bars, restaurants and shops. Now this promenade or promenade is probably the life and soul of the ship and features this massive LED dome in the ceiling, which is the largest LED video screen at sea. The dome changes constantly throughout the day with these fantastic images. Sometimes it's video or even a light show. Quite often you just find yourself standing there watching the images go by. Staying on the promenade deck, which is deck 6, you can get steak and seafood at this French-inspired steakhouse called Le Grill. Now next to the restaurant is this casual bar with a Parisian feel. It's got live music and artistry, including this fantastic wall of walking people, which I've got to admit found quite hypnotic watching everybody walk by. Next to Le Grill you have crepes and gelato. Now these serve freshly made crepes with a huge choice of toppings and classic Italian gelato. Now this again is an additional charge as it's not included as part of your cruise fare, but ice cream or gelato is one of my vices and I have to say it was well worth it. Now if you're a chocoholic, opposite the crepes and gelato you've got the Chocolatin Cafe. This again is an extra charge for hot drinks such as their Belgian hot chocolate. You can also purchase a wide range of different chocolates to eat on board or take home, and you can also design your own. So next you have the Euribia Bar and Lounge. Now this is a casual bar which can be found at the forward end of the promenade. This is one of the many late night venues on board and you can expect music to play into the wee small hours of the morning. Along deck 6 you can also find a range of shops from the hub to jewellers, clothes shops and shops selling souvenirs and duty free. Being at the heart of the ship, the promenade hosted a number of parties, one of which was the captain's party, and as captain's parties go, this was probably one of the best we've ever been to. At the very front of deck 5 and 6 is the Delphi Theatre. This is the main entertainment venue on board and the place to go for those Broadway style shows. However, we only saw one show in here and it wasn't that great, I have to say. In fact, the entertainment on board as a whole was a little bit like sitting through the first round of Britain's Got Talent. There were dancers out of time, comedians that just weren't funny, but a fantastic 18-piece big band that played in the Carousel lounge. Now that I'll come on to a little bit later. If you now head to the back of deck 6, you'll come across 3 main dining rooms, the Colorado River, the Aurora Boreal and the Aurora Borealis. These main dining rooms are open for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and they serve a variety of dishes from across the world. However, this was not what I would call a good dining experience. The one and only time we used it, we sat with 2 other couples, which was fair enough. The waiter came and took our drinks order, which came back all wrong. They took our food order, and when the starters came, half of them were wrong. So 2 on our table got their starters, whilst the rest of us were on our mains. And to top it all, we'd just taken the first mouth of our dessert and they put all the lights up and started geeing us up so they could get ready for the next sitting. The food itself was okay, not anything special, but accompanied by the poor and lack of service, it didn't make for a good experience. As we move now up to Deck 7, we're going to start at the front with the MSC Euribia Spa. Pretty much every cruise ship has got one now. It's a place to go if you want to be pampered with a massage and beauty treatments. You can also enjoy hydrotherapy pools, saunas, steam rooms, as well as getting your hair and nails done. Moving along is the TV studio and bar, where you can get involved in quizzes and game show style games throughout the day. Then you have the Masters of the Sea English style pub, giving you a taste of some British ales from all over the UK. Next we have the casino, which has a wide range of gaming machines and gaming tables. There's a sports bar located right in the middle with sports playing on separate TV screens going 360 degrees all around the bar. At the end of Deck 7, right at the back of the ship, past the casino, you have the Carousel Lounge, which was our favourite place. During the day, you can take part in quizzes and lectures, but in the evening, they had a big band playing who were probably, in our opinion, the only decent entertainment on board. It did get very busy in there of an evening, so if you wanted somewhere to sit, you needed to be there really early. In fact, that was another problem we had with MSC. There was never anywhere to sit. The bars and lounges all seemed to be so busy with standing room only. We did hear before we went that MSC stood for Mostly Standing Cruise, and I have to say they were so right. Decks 8 to 14 are mainly passenger cabins, so we're going to continue with Deck 15 and the Marketplace Buffet. Now this is a large buffet dining area which is open for breakfast, lunch and dinner, plus late night snacks which are available until the early hours. Now I have to say the variety of food on offer here was huge, from Italian cuisine to a variety of international dishes. Now the Marketplace Buffet is part of your cruise fare, so there's no extra charge here, and you can help yourself to as much as you like whenever you like. That said, there were so many stations serving so many different cuisines. The choices at each station seemed to be very limited, and the quality, apart from the freshly made pizzas, seemed to be a little mediocre, and not what you'd expect from a cruise ship. The Atmosphere Pool is the main pool area on board MSC Euribia. This has 2 swimming pools next to each other, water fountains and sunbeds all around the outside of the pool. Next is the Bamboo Pool, and I have to say we've never been on a cruise ship with an indoor swimming pool before, and it was set over 2 levels with seating at the top. It was absolutely fantastic. It's actually pulled away at the moment because it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's pulled away every evening and reset in the morning. There were some whirlpools in there, football tables, although I think some other countries call these foosballs, and they were all free to play. There was also some table tennis tables which were also free to play as well. Continuing on, we're now at the Virtual Games Arcade, where you can find a good selection of traditional and modern arcade video games which can be played at an extra charge, which is just like any other arcade really. To get more for your money, you can buy your gaming credits before you go, which we purchased €70 before the cruise and had 140 credits. As arcades go, this was pretty much the best one at sea we've ever been in. As well as the traditional machines ideal for Lucy and I to relive our youth, they also had an incredible F1 simulator, which was charged at €11 per session, and each session lasted for about 6 minutes. The interactive 4D cinema, which was priced at €10 for adults and €8 for children. Now there were 4 films to choose from, usually shooting either zombies or monsters of some kind. Next you've got the Hologate Blitz Virtual Reality. There you can select your preferred VR experience from a list, and again prices started at €10 per session. Next to that were 2 bowling alleys. Games were charged at €25 for 30 minutes and €45 for an hour's session, and you're also expected to pay €2 for shoe rental too. Now the bowling gets booked up really quickly, so you'll need to book early as we couldn't even get a lane during the whole of our week's cruise. Nearby is the sports bar, which is a perfect place to come and enjoy a drink and watch any sport that's playing during the cruise. The sports bar sits alongside the Sportplex. Now this is a decent size indoor sports hall, which lays on different exercise classes and games each day of your cruise. The Sky Lounge, found on deck 18, this is the bar and lounge that provides views looking ahead. It also overlooks the pool area on board. It's a great place to sit and overlook the ship, and serves a range of signature cocktails as well as being a late night venue. The problem was, unless you were lucky, there was never anywhere to sit again, unless of course you came up really early in the evening, which meant missing out on other activities going on. The Aqua Park is probably one of the best water parks at sea I've seen for ages, with free flumes or water slides, splash pools, water features, plus other fun activities. The Himalayan Bridge, or High Ropes to you and me, this is found on deck 19. The Himalayan Bridge offers a skywalk along a suspension bridge, which is more than 60 metres above the sea level. Now this was included in your fare, and obviously there's a waiver to sign, and it's a unique way to see some of those incredible views. It's also dependent on the weather, as it obviously has to close in rough seas or high winds. So in conclusion, during this cruise, at the time we vowed we'd never sail with MSC again. The service wasn't very good, especially the dining room and guest services. There never seemed to be enough seating for the number of passengers. The acoustics seemed to be so loud, so much louder than other cruise ships. The food wasn't that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great either. It also had the lack of choices with the buffet, with all the different stations. The entertainment was a bit inconsistent. That all said, the ship itself was stunning. The activities for us were great, with the VR arcade, the splash pools, the indoor pools, Himalayan Bridge, and the Promenade with its LED dome. And our most favourite place at sea, the Carousel Lounge with the big band. So knowing all the downfalls and having some time to think about it, yeah, we probably would give it another go. Obviously being prepared that some of the negative things that we've talked about in this video might not have changed. Let's hope they have. We'll just have to wait and see.